today we have Miss Jessica Shuford. Jessica is an Alabama native who studied business at Troy University in Montgomery, Alabama, before deciding she no longer wanted to accumulate student loan debt, but rather have a more hands-on approach in learning what she considers a passion for her. She became an entrepreneur in 2008 after working and doing apprenticeships for CPAs and bookkeepers. Jessica was employed while still building her business in the process. In 2018, Jessica became a full-time entrepreneur while remaining coachable in her field of work. She realized soon after becoming a full-time entrepreneur, this wasn't a task for the faint-hearted. Entrepreneurship is something that takes more than just financial knowledge, but also needs a dedicated mental approach, she stated. Growing up in a household with a single mom prompted Jessica at a young age to take a different approach in what she calls the real world. And becoming financially stable was top on her list. Financial literacy wasn't something taught in school and wasn't amongst most Black communities. She became more understanding that it was going to take a lot of unlearning in order to elevate and help others elevate their finances. Jessica then took the liberty of becoming a certified life and business coach to help her community grow in the areas most African Americans are shielded from. For your finances to be right, your mind must get right first. Jessica's distinct knowledge and experience spans several areas of expertise in life coaching and business coaching, including personal development, business building, proper structuring, relationship management, and other areas. Outside of helping others positively transform their lives, Jessica also serves the community as the founder of I Am Purpose, a nonprofit organization dedicated to uplifting and empowering young girls and women of minority. Through her nonprofit, Jessica has made strides to enhance the quality of life for others through services such as feeding the homeless, providing grants to women-led businesses, and partnering with other organizations to support survivors of domestic violence. Without further ado, I present to you all Miss Jessica Shuford.
Hello, everyone. Oh my God. All you guys look so beautiful, first and foremost. And I want to say thank you guys. It's such an honor and a privilege to be able to share some of the knowledge that I have gained over the years with you guys today. I'm not going to be very long. You know, you have different personalities. I'm between a summer and a winter. I like to have fun, but I'm also straight to the point as well. So I'm going to pull up my slide for you guys. And towards the end, we're going to do a Q&A session. So throughout, any notes that you guys want to write down, you guys feel like, hey, I need to ask her about that, feel free to go ahead and do that. And then at the end, hopefully I'll be able to answer all of you guys' questions. Of course, I'm here to talk to you guys about financial literacy, right? Just a little bit of financial literacy, because from my understanding, you young ladies are getting ready to start college, right? And what's the age group here?
We have all high school seniors. So I would say 18, 19, 17. Awesome.
So you guys know a little bit about me, just a little bit more about me. I'm a mother. I have 2 kids. I have a girl and a boy, Madison and Bryson, and they are 13 years of age and a 9-year-old. And it kind of freaks me out every time I say that I have a 13-year-old now. It's weird. But they are my pride and joy, and basically everything I do, I do it for them. I want them to be able to see their mom in a light where I wasn't able to see my mom in growing up. And financial literacy put me in the position I am now to be able to expose them to certain things that is going to allow them to grow as well. Financial literacy, by definition, is the possession of the set of skills and knowledge that allows an individual to make informed and effective decisions with all of their financial resources. Most people, when it comes to money, for some reason, they shy away and get scared to ask questions. But it's kind of crazy, because if your car is broken, you go see a mechanic, right? If you're sick, you're going to go to the doctor. You're going to go to that particular expert. But I saw throughout study within minority groups, within the Black community, when it comes to our finances, we don't really like to talk about finances. It's a touchy topic, but it doesn't have to be a touchy topic. Excuse me. I think it's more so because it wasn't taught in our household. And the things that were taught in our household that wasn't quite right, those things are instilled in us, and it's kind of hard for us to like unlearn a lot of things. But hopefully throughout this, you guys will grab some understanding and start to implement that. So I want to begin with the end in mind. So I want you guys to think about, do the work now so you don't have to move backwards in the future. Meaning, don't get to a point in your life later on down the road and you say, I wish I could, I should have did this, you know? So make sure you're always keeping the end in mind when you're starting something. So by studies, 75% of teens report learning about personal finances from their parents, 52% from schools, and 42% from social media. This was done around the early part of 2021, but I'm pretty sure social media percentage has increased now, because social media is exposing a whole lot of things when it comes to finances now. I see a lot of it on TikTok. I see a lot of celebrities speaking about finances now more so than they did in the earlier years, because you'll hear them say, well, when I was coming up in the game, majority rappers, I wish I would have did this with my money, or I should have did this with my money. So social media has increased its percentage now. 41% of teens don't know what a 401k is, and 32% don't know the difference between credit cards and debit cards. By a show of hands, can you guys let me know if you know anything about a 401k? Okay, I see a few hands up. Awesome. So one of the things that they failed to mention with 401ks, the guy Ted, who actually created 401ks, he stated 401ks was never ever intended to be used the way that corporate America is using it now. Wall Street got a hold of it and they wanted to see, wow, how can we make money off of the American people? The 401k plan was designed to be a short-term saving plan for individuals, right? For them to be able to have a small savings and the company be able to contribute or match a percentage of that for tax write-off purposes for them, but also a gain for the employee themselves. But Wall Street got a hold of all of that and took it through the roof. So now with 401k plans, people are using it more so of a retirement source instead of a short-term plan. So I put that on the screen because I want you guys to understand, if you decide to get a job in corporate America, never ever put more than what your employer is contributing. So if they are matching up to 2%, you don't need to contribute nothing outside of 2%. Everybody with me with that? Okay, awesome. A lot of individuals do not know the difference between credit cards and debit cards. Credit cards are used to actually report to the credit bureaus. We have 3 credit bureaus that we report to. We have Equifax, we have TransUnion, and we have Experian. Those are what credit cards report to. Your debit cards are more so what's attached to your funds alone, your bank, right? They're not reporting to the credit bureaus unless you overdraft your account and you don't pay them that money back. That's the only time they're going to actually report it to the credit bureaus. But credit cards are something that's reported to the credit bureaus, and sometimes you can do secured credit cards, but majority of the time they are unsecured, meaning they trust in you without having any collateral to state that you're going to pay that money back. They're trusting you with the amount that they granted you, right? But if you do not pay it, then they're going to report that to the credit bureau. And keep in mind, we always want to keep the end in mind. If you do not pay the balance, guess what? It's going to report negatively on your credit report. So difference between credit cards and debit cards: credit cards report to the credit bureau, debit cards, they don't. In 2021, 86% of teens were interested in investing, but 45% said they didn't invest because they didn't feel confident. How many of you guys right now are thinking about investing, either now or later in the future? Awesome. Are you guys afraid to start investing? Okay, nothing to be afraid about. But I do want to say, if you're not comfortable with doing it, because we have so many different scams going on now when it comes to investing your money, saying, hey, I can get you a larger return over here. If you're not comfortable with investing, do not do it. Converse with the expert first about what it is investing look like. I am not a licensed investor, so I cannot go into detail with you guys about a lot of investing, but I am going to say, get with an expert if you're wanting to start investing, because investing is good. You have a lot of people that get to the age of 65 and they think what they had in their 401k is going to be enough for them to retire on. And then life slaps them in the face because now they've retired, but they got to go get another job because they can't afford to live the lifestyle that they want. But if you start investing now at an early age, then you're able to retire even sooner than 65 years of age. And so that's why I want to put the slide up here about a little bit of investing, but I do want you guys to consult with a licensed investor or some type of expert first before doing so. Any questions on that slide?
I actually did have a question. My name is Jen, and I am Miss Texas. So you were talking about the 401k and how people sometimes they retire at the age of 65 and then have to get another job because, it's not enough. So how why would they think that would be enough?
Because most of the time, especially I'm a millennial, you guys, but the generation before me, you don't know what you don't know. So they were taught to go to school, get a job, get the 401k, making sure you're investing in that 401. I don't even like to say investing, contributing to that 401k so you can retire at the age of 65. But the 401ks, they are actually attached to the stock market. So the stock market could go up, the stock market could go down. Back in 2008, when we had the big housing, the crash, right? A lot of the stock market lost. It went down. My mom was actually one of them. My mom worked on her job for over 30 years. And when the market crashed, she lost everything that was in her 401k. It's not safe. Again, that's why it was for a short-term purpose, not for you to put your life savings into. So yes, they get to that age, they want to retire and thinking they have enough in there. And according to the market, it went up, it went down. They simply don't have enough when it's time to actually retire. So invest your money now. That's what the banks actually do with your money. When you go get your savings account, you put your money in your savings account, you're only getting about 0.01% return a year off of that, right? But the banks, your money isn't physically sitting in that bank. The bank go out and invest your money and getting 10 to 12% off of your money. So why aren't you doing the same thing with your money? Put your money somewhere where it could grow. I think a lot of people get confused about what money is. Money is actually a tool. Even though we be working for money, money actually supposed to work for us. So always keep that in mind, that money is a tool. Any other questions on that slide? And the reason why I ask questions about that one, because I know when people are talking about investing, normally people have a lot of questions.
Hello, I'm Shanadi Molly, Miss Michigan, and I have a question. My question is, so I heard about 401ks, and then you have a Roth IRA. So how do you know the interest? Because I noticed you can put $6,000 into a Roth IRA, that's a year. But how do you know the interest of the initial account? Will the interest grow or will it fluctuate throughout the years?
Yes, so it depends on what it's connected to. So once you set your Roth IRA up, that advisor, they would tell you where your money is connected to. If it's connected to the stock market, that'll let you know if there's inflation or if it goes down. They would explain all of that to you at that time. It all depends on what it's connected to. Most are connected to the stock market. Now you do have IUL private reserve accounts where it's connected to a stock market, but you get all of the gains off the stock market. And if the stock market was to crash, instead of you losing money, your money kind of idles. You don't lose anything. But again, I'm not a licensed investor. These are just things that I know because I utilize them myself. But get with a licensed investor and they'll be able to break everything down to you to make sure you're comfortable with investing and that you have your money in the proper vehicle for it to grow for you. Okay, on this next slide, 75% of American teens lack confidence in their knowledge of personal finance. And with me, with my mom was a single mom. And I always ask my mom, like, why do you do the things you do? Or why do you do the things, why you do it that way? Why you don't never try to do it another way? And she always stated, I don't know, that's how my mama taught me. So just do it like that. My mama tell anybody to this day I was her problem child because I asked a lot of questions. I always was a curious child growing up. So I was like, well, there's, 2 + 2 = 4, 3 + 1 = 4. There's different ways to get to the same thing. So you don't have to do something the same way somebody else did it. And I think when it comes to personal finances, because majority of teens learn about personal finances from their parents. So they only exposed to however much their parents know. So I challenge you guys to become more confident when it comes to finances. There are so many different resources out here that you guys could utilize. Like at the end, I'm gonna give you guys my site. You guys can reach out to me by email or however. And if you guys have any questions about finances within my field, I'm pleased to help. But make sure you guys continue to study on finances, learn more about it. Don't be afraid of it because money makes the world go round. So you need to learn about it right now, more sooner than later. 25% of Americans say they don't have anyone they can ask for trusted financial guidance. You guys ever heard the saying, the blind leading the blind? Most people within our community, that's what happened. Again, I stated earlier, we're so afraid to speak with someone when it comes to money. We don't want to be exposed to a certain degree about how much of money we're actually working with. And you find yourself asking relatives who ain't doing no better than you about money. Why are you listening to someone who isn't doing better than you about money? We gotta be able to speak with trusted advisors about money. I think people think it's super expensive, but it's not. It's a lot of free tools out here that you guys could utilize. Thank God they reached out to me to be able to share some of the knowledge that I have with you guys on today, because I'm not getting anything from this. I'm doing this from the bottom of my heart because I know that it's something that we lack within our community that should have light shedded upon it. So never ever be afraid to get with experts about your money. That's your money. One thing that is important is our time and our money. So we need to speak with experts about our money. 23% of US adults ages 18 to 29 have credit card debt that's over 90 days, that's 90 days overdue. And we're gonna get into credit here in a short moment as well. Oh my God, when COVID hit, as if most Americans wasn't struggling already, but when COVID hit, a lot of mom and pop businesses had to close down. A lot of people were floating their credit cards because of lack of work, things shutting down. And so with all of that, people added more debt to themselves. They added that debt to themselves. They're not, if you can afford to pay for it up front and you put it on a credit card, of course they're 90 days overdue. It's probably going to be more overdue because they're not disciplined with things. And they had to float those credit cards because they wasn't prepared. My mentor always tell me, you have to prepare for war in the time of peace. So although nothing serious is going on right now, we would say, that don't mean, okay, let your guard down. That means you need to be working on yourself to get ahead. You always need to be 3 steps ahead. If something like this, like COVID ever was to happen again, you need to be prepared for it. So right now, I challenge all of you guys to make sure that you guys are preparing for war in a time of peace. Americans owe over $800 billion in credit card debt. And that was as of the first quarter of 2022. Towards the end of the year, that number has now grown to over $1 trillion. That is some massive debt. Why are Americans in so much of debt? We're taught to go out and use credit cards. We're taught to go out and get loans that we can't afford. We taught to go out, to go compare things on social media. We got to have the latest car. We got to have the latest bags. We got to have the latest shoes. We got to have all of that stuff, right? We don't have to have any of those things. But that's why Americans are so far in debt, because we want to keep up with the appearance of looking like we got it instead of actually having it. Most wealthy people that you see walking around, they don't have on all the chains. They don't have on all of these extravagant clothing. They don't have on any of that. They look like average people because they know it's more to life. It's more to their legacy than actually trying to look like I got money, but actually having the money. So that alone is why Americans owe so much in debt, in credit card debt right now. Here you'll see 80% of Americans face credit card challenges, 90% are buried in debt. Student loans, you guys are preparing yourselves for college, right? Do not, I cannot say that enough. Do not get caught up with student loans. They're so easy to get into, and it's so hard to get out. I pray to God that Joe Biden go ahead and get this thing passed where these student loans can be forgiven, give everybody a clean slate, right? But I just want you guys to know, do not get into student loan. If you guys look at this chart over here, this is the historic total national student loan debt balances. You never see it go up, down, up, down, up, down. It continuously rises. Why is that? It's so easy to get them. It's so easy to get them, but it's so hard to get a business loan. It's so hard to get a personal loan. It's super easy to get those student loans because they know they will forever have you in debt. So by all means, if you guys can avoid it, please do not get caught up in student loans. Pay attention to school. Do what you got to do. It's plenty of grants out here that you guys could utilize. Utilize the resources that are given to you guys to, by all means, avoid these student loans. It's entrapment. And a lot of you guys, it seems like y'all have strong heads. Do not get caught up in this debt cycle, because that's what it is. It's a continuous debt cycle. Now, this is my favorite part. I love educating people on credit. I love educating people on credit because, like your Social Security card, your Social Security number, or your Social Security number, your credit score is basically the identity of you and how you manage your finances. So outside of your DNA, your Social Security number is what identifies you, right? Your credit score is what identifies you as a person and how you manage your finances. Credit is important because it determines how trustworthy you are with your finances. Here you will see it has 5 up here, but it's actually 4. 4 things that determines your credit score. And that's going to be 35% payment history. That means making sure you're paying things on time, making sure you're never late, making sure that you're, sorry you guys, my hand moving too fast. Making sure that you're paying things on time, you're not late. Majority, that's what the payment history is. 30% credit utilization, that's gonna be your credit cards. Now, I like to educate my clients when they come in that it's okay to have credit cards. It is, it's okay as long as you're disciplined with having credit cards. If you're not disciplined with credit cards, do not get credit cards. Do not, I'm gonna say that again. If you're not disciplined within your finances, do not get credit cards because they can hem you up in a bad way. You see that 30%, that means, say for instance, you have a $300 credit limit on your card. When it's time to pay that credit card, if it's reporting over 30%, the balance is reporting over 30%, it impacts your credit score in a very, very negative manner. Meaning it's gonna take your debt to ratio up, it's gonna take your credit score down, it's going to affect you horribly. But instead of even reflecting 30% of any credit card balances, just keep it at 0. Because if you're not paying the full balance by the due date, then they're gonna hit you on that with that high interest rate. How many of you guys know that credit cards are one of the entities that charges you one of the highest credit interest? We're talking about high 20s. Sometimes I didn't see them like 29.7%. It's crazy. So throughout that month, if you're spending about, let's say they report towards the end of the month, if you're spending $300 throughout that month, by the 25th of that month, that full $300 that you spent, it needs to be paid in full, or you're gonna find yourself paying $50, $100 for just $300. Imagine this, if I go to the store or if I go to the restaurant and my meal costs me like $20 and I put it on my credit card, and then I don't pay the credit card balance, I just let it, go on to next month. Don't you know that $20 meal has now turned into like a $40 meal that I done ate and disposed of by now? So look at it that way when you're using your credit cards. You don't want to spend more than what it's worth. And the way that inflation is right now, we're already spending too much as it is. So all in all, instead of even reflecting a 30% balance, just keep it at 0. Keep it at 0, you guys. 15% of your credit score is going to be the length of credit history. You guys are young right now. So say for instance, you get a car in your name, make sure that, because it go hand in hand with that 35% payment history, make sure that you're making your payments on time. Sometimes people can see when they pay their car off too soon, their credit score go down. It goes down because of the length of history is now eliminated. They don't have that history to support their credit score no more. So 15% of your credit score is going to revolve around the length of history, how long you had an account, and if that account always reflected in a positive manner. And then 10% increase, 10% is an increase in new credit. This is the thing, because I know when I was getting ready for school, I used to go to Victoria's Secret, go to dealers, as soon as they say, you can save 15% if you apply for our dealer's card. Oh, okay, sure. I didn't know no better. And I was allowing them to pull my credit. Each time they pull my credit, it's dropping me 14 to 21 points. Those inquiries are crucial to your credit score. Very crucial. You shouldn't have no more than 3 inquiries on your credit report. 3. But I like to tell my clients 2. Inquiries state that you're always applying for something. And just to keep it all the way real with you, it's almost like you're begging for money. That is what, if you have too many inquiries on your credit report, most creditors look and say, oh, she got all of these inquiries. She begging for money. She desperate for some money. They know you're not responsible with it when they see all of those inquiries on your credit report. So please refrain from allowing others to pull your credit, because it's going to hurt you in the long run. I deal with clients on the daily basis, and they come in here, and one guy had about 35 to 40 inquiries on there, just letting people pull his credit, trying to get loans. And he got denied for every last one of them. He got denied because they know that you can't afford it, and you just try to move to the next person, and it's doing nothing. You're still gonna get denied, but it's doing nothing but hurting your credit score. So again, ladies, please refrain from letting people pull your credit. On this next slide is some of the do's and the don'ts. Some of the do's are: always be aware of your credit score. Always have a plan, long-term and short-term, and never assume. Get with an expert to help you. The don'ts: never put anything, I mean anything. I don't even put nothing in my name for my mama. That's how serious I am about my credit score, y'all. I'm so serious about it. I'm in the upper 800s, and I want to keep it that way. Do not never put anything in your name for anyone. That includes co-signing on things, because you as a co-signer is holding yourself responsible. So you are just as responsible as the individual who was the primary on there. I'll never forget, I was young. I put a cell phone in my name for my sister, and she did not pay the bill. And when I told her it was on my credit report, she stated to me, I can't give you nothing I don't have. And when I tell y'all that stirred something up in my spirit, I was like, oh no. But I was responsible because I put it in my name for her. I don't care what the circumstance is. Life happens to us all. So if you put something in your name for someone and life happens to them, guess what? If they can't afford it, that means you're responsible for paying for it. And if you can't afford to pay for it, you shouldn't have ever put anything in your name for that person. So those are the do's and don'ts. And avoid credit inquiries. We talked about that. And all in all, never, ever forget your dues. I want you to write down 3 things for me, and I want you guys to do one of them for me, okay?
I'm Janaya. I'm Miss District of Columbia, and I plan to attend Howard University in the fall. And yay! And my first question is, because I have a couple, but my first question is, where did you personally get started with your investing?
So I'm a part of this amazing company called MWR, who I was, oh my God, I think it was heaven sent. I was able to meet my mentor now, Mr. Brian Bean, and he connected me with a company that actually taught me about PRA, private reserve accounts. And it's more so sort of like backed up by insurance plan. But you're able to actually, say for instance, I have 100,000 in there and I want to borrow from it a few years down the road. I can actually pull money from that and be able to pay myself back at whatever terms. But my money is still gaining compound interest as if it never ever left the account. So when I got introduced to him, my world just kind of took off from there. But he introduced me to the expert. And so I just literally had a consult with him, and he told me what was some options I can invest my money in. And we went from there.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Miss Kentucky. My name is Naya Brown. In the fall, I'll be attending Kentucky State University. My question is, let's say when you were younger, someone put a bill in your name, and now as you got older, you go to check your credit score, and it's a charge on there. So how do you go about it? You dispute it, but how do you get the bill off things so you are able to put another bill in your name?
So with things like that, it's fairly easy. It can be a little complicated in the beginning, but it's fairly easy, especially if you was a young age. Majority of the time, only thing you have to do is send in your ID with a dispute letter, state and say, hey, I was this age back here. There is no way I had bills in my name. And so they would consider it to be fraud, and majority of the time they go ahead and remove those things off. But you have to send a dispute letters to the actual credit bureaus. Many people get afraid when you hear credit bureau because it kind of sounds like the Federal Bureau. But the credit agencies, literally, you guys, they are just private entities. They're private entities. And a lot of things are on people's credit report erroneously. So you write to them stating, hey, I need this removed. They have to verify with the creditor who actually put it on your credit report. That creditor has up to 45 days to respond. If they do not respond within 45 days, by law, they have to remove it off of your credit report.
Okay, and I have another question. How do I get the dispute letter? Because I went through Experian and tried to dispute it through online, but how do I get my dispute letter?
So you can write out, it don't have to be super detailed. You can say, have your name, your address, your date of birth, and your social security number up there. Of course, you're gonna date it, Dear Experian. You're going to write that account number out, and you're gonna explain to them in summary, hey, this is not my account. Please remove it from my credit report. And then you're going to mail it to them, but mail it by certified mail. That way you have a timestamp when they actually received it, and you start counting the days from the day that they received it for them to get back in contact with you. If they fail to get back in contact with you within 45 days, you write back to them and you threaten them to say, hey, I'm going to contact the Federal Credit Agency about such and such because I wrote in on such and such date, and here's the timestamp, and I received no response. Majority of the time, they go ahead and remove those things.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Jay Wilson, and I am Miss Texas. In the fall, I will be attending North Carolina Agriculture and Technical State University. I actually have two questions. So you were talking about inquiries, how they're bad for your credit. So how long do they last for? Like, if I were to go get one, how long would that stay on my credit for?
So majority of the time they stay on your credit up to 2 years.
Okay. And then my second question is, when should I use inquiries? Like, I know you said they're bad, but are there positives to using them, and when is the proper time to use them?
So one of the things I like to tell my clients, when you're going out and you know you're going to have to utilize your credit to purchase something, I would suggest you not Advantage, use myficoscore.com. Use the consumer side, because if you allow the other person to pull your credit, it's going to give you an inquiry. You can get in front of that thing and view your own credit report and let them know in advance, hey, I want to get this, but this is what my credit score is looking like right now. This is what's on my credit report. What are my chances of getting approval? If they say your chances are low, do not let them pull your credit. If they say you got a pretty good chance considering what you're showing me on your consumer credit report, then go ahead. But be cautious still, because you do not want to accumulate more than 3 credit inquiries on there. So whenever you're trying to purchase something, narrow it down to say, hey, okay, I'm definitely for sure I'm going to get this, and then allow them to pull the credit report.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, I'm Miss Mississippi. My question is, so I know is like choosing your college is like you want to go to your top choice college, but my top choice college is really, really, really expensive, and I really want to go, but I don't want to make like the wrong decision and like go to my dream school and then like have a lot of guilt and stuff, because their school is really expensive, and I don't think like the amount of scholarships I'm gonna have gonna be able to still pay that off. But I still want to go, but I just feel like that it's just so expensive, and I don't want to be in like guilt when I'm older.
Exactly. So one of the things that I do express to teens is when it's time to choose a college, I do not want you to shy away from the things that you always pray to do, right? And that's something that you truly want to do. See about getting as many scholarships or grants out there as you could possibly get. And then try to see about whatever you're majoring in, right? A lot of people go to school and they get their degree. And then when they get out of school, the job that they get is not even enough to cover anything. So in that case, I want you to just really, really think long about, okay, this is what I'm going to school for. You got to have a plan. You got to write it down. This is what I'm going to go to school for. I think I'm going to be able to have this much in a scholarship. I'm going to make sure I look for grants, right? See about how many grants you'll be able to get to utilize. And then say whatever profession I'm going in, I'm able to make this amount a year. And then I know I'm gonna have this amount of student debt. I'm gonna have a plan to be able to pay that off. Most people go into things without a plan. They just wanna wing it. You can't go through life trying to wing it, trying to wing everything. You gotta have a plan. So whatever school you want to go to, write it down, write down that number. If you got scholarships, write down how much that scholarship is going to be. Between now and then, if you could get some grants, go ahead and write those grant amounts down. Now you know when you graduate from college, okay, Miss Mississippi got X amount of dollars she got to pay back for this student loan debt. And you got to stay steadfast on that plan. You can't shy away from it. Life happens, but you can't shy away from it because that student loan debt, you do not want to be forever embedded with them. Did that answer your question, Sam?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm Shania D. Riley. I am Miss Michigan, and I plan on attending the Tennessee State University in the fall for 2023. Question is, I had two questions. So earlier when you said you can't pay it as quickly, like when you spend it, you can't pay it the next day because sometimes it can affect your credit and make it go down. How often can you pay off your credit card before
So not with credit cards, that's with installment loans. Installment loans are more so going to be like mortgages, car notes, things that already got interest factored in it. You want to make sure you don't pay those things off too quickly because it erases your history. And now you don't have any history to report on your credit report. But as far as credit cards are what we consider revolving debt. Credit cards, you want to pay those off immediately. You spend $300, before that due date, you need to be paying that $300 back. Simple as that. It's only with installment credit lines. So when I say installment, just think about a car note, just think about mortgages, personal loans, things like that. You don't want to eliminate that history off of it too soon because you're not going to have any history to show up. And as you saw, it's worth 35% of your credit scoring.
Hi, my name is Shayla Moore. I'm Miss South Carolina hcbuteen. I plan on attending North Carolina A&T in the fall, majoring in biology. My question is, how much money is like the right amount of money to start out with when you're investing? Because like, how do you know if you have enough money to even start? And then another question like following that is, what if your income that's like you're putting money into, what if it decreases or if it just goes away and you don't have the money to finish investing basically?
So this is advice I give to anyone. Before anyone start investing, I ask them, do you have an emergency fund set up first? An emergency fund is at least a minimum of $3,000. And then after you have your miniature fund set up, do you have a fund that's completely allocated for at least 6 months of your expenses? Meaning if you was to lose your job, right? you're able to still pay your mortgage, still pay your car note, or whatever you have, right? Have that amount a month times 6 months set in a separate account. Now, if you got both of those, you can start investing. Now, you can invest as little as $500. It just depends on what it is that you want to invest in. Do you want to contribute on a monthly basis to whatever you want to invest in? But you can invest with as little as $500. You can do it one time. You can have it a monthly occurring. It just depends on what it is that you want to invest in.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? I don't want to miss anyone.
Janai.
I have a question. Oh, okay. Thank you. So my question is, how much do you think like your job that you end up having determines how financially successful you'll be? Because for me, I plan on going to school majoring in psychology, but also minoring in either business or biology. But I also know that psychology is like notorious for not making a lot of money. So I want to go to Howard, but I'm also kind of thinking like long term, I'm thinking about potentially maybe like other plans for what I should major in, because I want to make sure that I'm financially successful enough to not have to worry about student debt. So like my question is like, yeah, like how much do you think your financial success like depends on the job that you have?
So thank you, Janai. I'm so glad that you asked that question. That was a loaded question. But first of all, the best thing you can ever invest in is yourself, first and foremost. I don't want you to approach the situation as, I want to major in psychology, but they're notorious of, not making a lot of money. I do want to say that the current state that we're in, mental health it has gotten a light shed on it like no other. My best friend, who I consider like a sister of mine, she's a psychologist, and the people that she see, it's really driving some income currently. So, but also whatever you think will manifest. So I don't want you to even approach the situation, oh, I'm gonna go for psychology, but I don't really think I'm gonna make enough money. No, Janaya is gonna major in psychology, and she's gonna graduate, and she's gonna be doing big things with psychology. And you don't have to just stay in one field. You can be hired on as doing small contracts, because that's what my friend does. She does small contracts with institutions, and she made way more than she did when she was working within the military as a psychologist. So it's all about how you approach something. And then as far as you being financially stable, that comes into cash flow management. A lot of people, they make the money, but then they spend it as quick as they get it. They live outside of their means. You need to be within 60 to 70% of your income, right? You need to make sure your cash flow is good. If you make $2 million a year salary, but you're sitting up here spending 2.5, you're negative. Your cash flow is negative 500,000, right? You need to put yourself in a position where I'm gonna make $2 million a year, but I'm gonna live off $1 million. You're always up $1 million. So when that next year comes, now you got $2 million put up. Following year, you got another $1 million added to that, because your cash flow is now positive. So financial literacy is all about the small things that you do with your money. The very small things. I mean, as far as DoorDash and food to the house. Go buy some groceries. I know groceries high right now, but yet and still, you can still save more if you're purchasing your groceries, you're cooking at home. It's all about the little things that we do. And right now they done made it so easy. Everything is just at a click of a button. And that's why we get out of control with our spending habits, because it's just a click of a button. You got Afterpay, Klarna. It's just setting people up for failure. So it's all about the cash flow management. But most importantly, I do not ever want to hear anyone speak negative about something positive that they want to do. So approach it in a positive manner and you'll win.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Nadia Grant Webster. I plan on attending North Carolina Central University, majoring in criminology and minoring in behavioral psychology. My question is, I've never really learned about investing in my economics class. I don't really talk about financial stuff. It's kind of a touchy subject in my house. I'm wondering, like, what are things that I could start potentially looking at investing in? I don't know what I don't even know where to start when it comes to investing, or what kind of things that I should be investing in.
So one of the resources that I like to give out is, and it's easy, you guys can really reach out to Vanguard. You can Google Vanguard and you can get with one of their licensed investors. They will do an overview with you, letting you know some of the things that you could actually start investing in at a younger age. That way, when you get of age, and you can retire whatever age you want to and start as little right now. So I would say go to Vanguard.com. That's V as in Victor, ANGUARD, and speak with one of their licensed investors. Because again, I'm not a licensed investor, but I can let you guys know some of the things that I've done.
Okay. And then the last thing I wanted to ask was, you said before we started answering questions that you were going to tell us 3 things.
Yeah.
Just wondering what those 3 things were.
Yeah. So those 3 things are, these are the things that I want you to write down. And there's one that I want you to do. I want you to write down, how old are you now? Number 2 is, what age do you expect to live to? That's a realistic question, because we know we're not going to be here forever. But realistically, what age would you expect to live to? And number 3, what do you want your life to look like? What do you want your life to look like? And the 4th thing is something I want you to do. I want you to do the things now that's going to get you to that thing that you want, because we're not going to be here forever. So again, keeping the end in mind. If you got your mind set on something that you want to do, you need to be making strides right now towards that. I know we get in our 20s and we wild out, we want to party, we want to do all the fun things. But when you get to your 30s and 40s, now you're trying to play catch up. It's okay. I'm not telling nobody not to have fun. You guys can have fun. Life is a gift. Live it. But also make sure that you are prioritizing what it is that you want to accomplish within your life. What legacy do you want to leave? What legacy do you want to live? Because it's not all about us leaving a legacy. We hear that all the time. I want to leave a legacy. No, I want to leave and live a legacy. I want to be able to live my legacy today. I want to be able to share the love and the things that I have with individuals today, with my kids. And when they get of age, my kids' kids. We want to be able to live it. So that's why I want you guys to be intentional about the things that you're doing right now. Be very intentional about it. Write down your age that you are today. Write down the age that you want to live to. And literally start doing those things right now that it is that you want to accomplish by that age.
I just wanted to say thank you for all the information you've shared with us. I think it's very insightful, not only for now, but like for our futures. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you guys. I was like, oh my God, are they gonna really understand all of this stuff? Because I talk about finances all the time. You're so welcome. But I thank you guys. It was an honor and a privilege to be able to share some of the nuggets that I have with you guys. Also, you guys can follow me on Instagram if you want to. JTS Financial Solutions _ on Instagram is my business page. But if y'all want to follow me on my personal, I'm the same. But I share a lot of financial tips on my business page.
Yes, and we'll make sure that you all get her Instagram information. We will send that out. I just want to thank you so much for joining us this evening and providing some tips. I also was taking notes. Y'all, please listen to her. Like, do not get a credit card. Please, y'all, please leave Victoria's Secret credit card alone. I'm telling y'all right now, please don't do it.
They got all my money.
I still owe them money, and this is the problem. So please don't do it. But we just want to thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you guys so much. And again, it was a privilege and an honor. You guys have an amazing night. And I pray and wish you guys the best of luck in all that it is that you guys want to do. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
One thing that Miss Shuford said that really stuck with me was when she said, prepare for war in a time of peace. It really resonated with me in multiple different scenarios, but really talking financially, that made a lot of sense to me and it really clicked. So I just really appreciate her for saying that. It kind of put it into perspective.
I didn't really know what a 401k was. Like, I never really was taught that. But just learning about it and learning that it's supposed to be something short term and it's not supposed to be something that it's like in the long run was super helpful to me.
I loved how she answered my question about like psychology. And what I learned was that like cash flow management is what makes you stable and not how much money you're making. So definitely like your investments and much more than just your career, but also how you handle the money that you get.
This kind of stuck with me because my mom was making fun of me because of it, because I have a credit card right now. And at first, when she first handed me my credit card, I'm like, I was spending money like crazy. Like, and it is, yeah. But now I'm getting better at managing my money on my credit card. Because one thing that really stuck with me was, you know, you gotta pay it. Once I turn 18, I can't be on my mom's credit. And my mom was the person who actually helped build my credit to be what it is right now. So I have to, you know, keep up with that once I'm off for her credit when I turn 18. So yeah, that's one thing that really stuck with me. And another thing, yeah, I'm gonna listen to that Victoria's Secret part because y'all keep saying it.
Thank you.
Miss Jessica.